Happy Monday morning, everyone. It's so great to see everybody and to start our week off on the right foot by practicing medical Qigong. I'm babbling a little bit. I apologize. My name is Mary Frances and I am one of Henry Junwali's students. Let's go ahead and begin. We're going to open up to the left. I'm going to try to mirror you. We're going to settle into the space, settling into the moment, breathing in and out through the nose, allowing the tip of the tongue to touch the roof of the mouth so that we're connecting the front of the body and the back of the body. And then with the hands in loose fists, we're going to start twisting from side to side, softening the knees, relaxing the low back, opening up the shoulders, softening the jaw. And even as we're twisting from side to side, if you can, allowing the very top of the head to reach up just a bit into the sky, allowing some space within the spine. And as we're twisting, as the tissues start to open up, allowing that lead arm to start traveling up the body towards the opposing shoulder. And then letting it come back down to the waist and the back. Taking the momentum away from the twisting, releasing the hands, and gradually allowing yourself to come back to the center. From here, we're opening up the channels in the lower half of the body by widening our stance to the left. I'm going to reposition myself, and then we're tapping the inner thigh and then up at the hip. Still breathing in through the nose, maybe deepening the breath a bit, drawing it down into the body. Transitioning, widening the stance further, coming down the inner aspect of the legs towards just above the ankle or wherever it's comfortable for you. Transitioning to the lateral aspect of the legs. Coming back on up. Once you get to the hips and the glutes, sliding that left foot a little closer to the right, maintaining the hip width, shoulder width distance. And then tapping your way up to just underneath the rib cage, or wherever it's comfortable for you. Waking up the kidneys, saying good morning to that kidney energy. Before then placing the palms at the low back, circling down the sides and up the spine. Resting the palms at the low back, trying to bring the shoulders back down. Closing the eyes. As we inhale through the nose, guiding the breath and the chi down to the low back, allowing it to fill up with energy. And then as we exhale, allowing that energy to flow freely to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling using the mind's eye to guide the breath down into the torso, meeting with the palms at the low back. And exhaling, allowing that energy to flow to wherever it's needed. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Allowing the mind to connect and focus upon the breath. Allowing the body and the tissues of the body to relax. And allowing the chi to flow freely to wherever it's needed. When you're ready, gently opening the eyes, letting the arms come back down to the sides and closing by bringing that left foot back to the right. We're working on our Golden 8 series and our Facial Rejuvenation series today, starting out with the Golden 8, the first exercise, reaching for happiness for the lung and large intestine. Opening up. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Moving now at your own pace, allowing your breath to guide the movement. Allowing your mind to relax into the exercise. And getting ready to close. Closing. Our second exercise, the Archer exercise, for the heart and small intestine. Opening. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Relaxing into the exercise. Giving your mind a chance to rest and relax. And getting ready to close. Closing. Opening for our third exercise between heaven and earth, our spleen and stomach exercise. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. And exhaling. And getting ready to close. Closing. Our fourth exercise for the Sanjiao, opening. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, allowing the breath to generate the turning. Exhaling. Continuing on. And getting ready to close. Closing. That was turn and look back. This next one is twist and release for the liver and gallbladder. Opening. Inhaling. And exhaling. Allowing the breath to draw the movement forward. Allowing yourself to release any preconceived ideas on how the movement should be. And getting ready to close. Closing. Our sixth exercise for kidney and urinary bladder. Bend for help. Opening. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. Out. And inhaling back to standing. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our energy punch, the 7th exercise for the Ren channel, the conception vessel, opening. Inhaling. Exhaling. In and out. Getting ready to close. Closing. Our energy jump exercise for the dew channel, the governing vessel, in 2 parts. Opening. Inhaling. And exhaling. In and out. And transitioning, inhaling and exhaling. Gradually allowing yourself to come back. Closing. For our closing exercises, we're incorporating the facial rejuvenation exercises. I'm scooting closer so you can see. You want your feet together, the palms together, transferring some of that wonderful chi that you've been cultivating over the past half hour to the palms. Washing the face 9 times. Brushing the brow and under the eye 9 times. Wiping up and down the nose 9 times. And the circles, inward 9 times, outward 9 times. Underneath the eyes, 9 times in, 9 times out. All 5 fingertips dredging the channels in the scalp 9 times. Beating the drum 9 times. Grasping all 5 fingertips, the upper ear, all 5 fingertips, the lower ear, the earlobe 9 times. And switching. Tip of the ear in the ears, down and out 9 times, popping the cork. One fingertip, the philtrum, the other the mandibular crease, inward 9 times and outward 9 times. Palm to the jaw, turning the head 9 times each side. Then we're changing our number, brushing down the throat 12 times total, 6 times each side. Then down the breastbone, 12 times total, 6 times each side. And then placing the palms at the lower dantian, circling up the right, down the left. I'm not going to mirror you here. We're starting to gather that chi 9 times. Circling the other way, up the left, down the right, concentrating that energy 9 times. Resting the palms at the lower dantian, about 3 to 4 finger breaths beneath the belly button. We're closing our eyes. And as we inhale, guiding the breath and the chi to the lower dantian, allowing it to fill up with energy. Exhaling, allowing that energy to settle and store so that you may use it throughout the rest of your day. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Allowing the mind to relax, the body to relax, and the chi to settle and store. Thank you guys so very much for waking up early on a Monday morning and hanging out with us. Henry, please take over.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully your face feels better after that facial rejuvenation series, after the Golden 8. So before we talk too much more about the facial rejuvenation exercise, today I want to talk a little bit about the 5 elements, because that is actually another big foundational piece to understanding Qigong and Chinese medicine. Especially now that we've done all the Golden 8 exercises, I do want to sort of connect some of the philosophical underpinnings with the exercises. And, we've been talking also about foods and stuff. So adding the 5 elements really will help you guys understand these a little bit better. So first I'm going to pull up. Where is that? I'm going to pull up the 5 elements just so we're on the same page. Okay. So Hopefully all of you can see that. You'll see this, these 5 elements. And starting at the top, we have wood, okay? So wood, so we have what's called a generating cycle. Okay, basically one element creates the next. And this is the clockwise, going clockwise here, according to this image. So first we start with wood. Wood is, in terms of seasons, wood is the springtime. That's kind of the start of the year, right? And then wood generates the next element, which is fire, okay? So fire in seasons is summertime, okay? And then from fire, we create earth. Earth, in terms of seasons, right? Because typically we have 4 seasons. Earth we see as both the transition between each season, as well as we look at that as late summer as well. So fire transitions into earth, and then earth creates metal, okay? So metal, according to seasons, is the fall season. Okay, so you can see it kind of makes sense, right? At least chronologically, as the year progresses. Fall then becomes winter, and winter is the element of water in Chinese medicine, okay? So there we have the 5 elements, and of course water then goes back to wood. So winter goes back to spring. Now, how does this relate to the Golden 8, you may ask? Okay, so Golden 8, we've been doing exercises for different organ systems. And the organ systems themselves are each correspond to an element, okay? So everything in the world, we've talked about yin and yang, okay? We can sort of break down everything that we see, that we experience into yin or yang, okay, and that relationship. We can also break this down into 5 elements. So everything has an energetic element. So basically what they represent in life. So for example, wood represents like the springtime when things sprout to life, new beginnings, okay? And then water is kind of the end. So that's kind of like for us, like death and contemplation and going inward, okay? So just some examples. We're going to talk more about 5 elements as we go, but I want to lay down some foundational understanding of the 5 elements, and then we can build upon that. So let's go back to Golden 8 and how this relates. So, for example, the first exercise that we do, Reach for Happiness, that's a lung and large intestine exercise. Now, what element is lung and large intestine? In Chinese medicine, that's the metal element, okay? So we don't do it, so you may wonder, like, why don't we do it in sequence? Now, in Qigong, we typically start with a lung large intestine exercise because the lungs, the function of the lungs are so important for the body, right? Because if you can't breathe well, you're gonna die in a few minutes, all right? And for most of us, if we're not breathing well each breath, that means we're not nourishing the rest of our body properly with energy, okay? Or just as a basic oxygen. So the first exercise we do is related to the metal element, that's lung and large intestine. The second exercise we do, okay, that's the Archer exercise, and that's more related to the heart and small intestine, okay? And what element is that? That's fire, okay? Third exercise, which one is third exercise? That's the between heaven and earth, okay? And we typically do that exercise for the spleen and stomach. And spleen and stomach organs are related to the earth element. All right, so let's move on to the fourth exercise. Fourth exercise, turn and look back. That exercise is also another fire exercise, okay? That's related to the triple burner, okay, and the pericardium. So that's another fire one. Number 5, moving on to number 5. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too inundated with information, but hopefully this starts to connect you, right? Because hopefully you guys all been doing the Golden 8, so you're like, aha, okay, I know This one's for which element? All right, so number 5, okay, that's the twist and release. And this one is related to liver and gallbladder organs. And that's related to the wood element. Okay, that's the one at the top. All right, move on to number 6. We have one organ left we haven't covered. Okay, number 6, the Bend for Health exercise. That's really good for the kidneys and the bladder. And that's a water element. All right, so for the first 6 exercises, you've covered all of the elements in Chinese medicine. Okay, so depending on which element you need, and elements relate to not just the organs, okay, and not just the seasons, but they relate to emotions, for example. So what's the emotion of, let's go back to the top of the chart here, wood. The emotion of wood is anger and passion, okay? And fire, what's the emotion of fire? Fire, we say, is joy and mania, okay? Too much joy or too little joy. And then from there, earth, what's the emotion of earth, okay? We look at that as worry, people who worry too much, okay? And also the emotion of sympathy, people who take care of other people. And then metal is the emotion of sadness, loss, but also compassion. So one and the other, they're the yin and yang in a way, okay? And then the last emotion with water is the emotion of fear. Fear and wisdom. All right, so there you have the 5 elements of emotions. Now you know the 5 elements related to the Qigong exercises that we've been doing, the Golden 8, and how they relate to the seasons as well. And so you can see how everything is really interconnected to each other. And we can break it down into like 5 elements of like taste, 5 elements of personalities, okay? So there's a lot of different ways that we can look at life. And the beauty is that, like, we use this in Chinese medicine as a diagnostic tool to help understand what's maybe out of balance, what we want to treat, what we want to focus on. So it's a really great way to break things down and understand what's going on within somebody or something in the world that's happening. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys with that as our Chi Chat for the day. Hopefully that's a lot of information to sort of process. What I do also want to encourage you to do is practice the facial rejuvenation because we haven't explained a lot about it yet. I did explain a little bit about which ones are really good for, you know, your nose or your sinuses. But I really encourage you guys to practice and sort of feel what your body's telling you about these exercises, okay? So I do like to explain them to you guys, but at the same time, there's a lot of wisdom that you already internally know. We're really just bringing things out in your body. And so the more that you can sort of communicate directly with your body and hear what's telling you in the facial rejuvenation exercises, for example, like which one's good for what? Like when you're doing this, what are you feeling? Like what is happening to you? What are you feeling as the benefit for it? Okay, so before we get to the point where I'm going to explain these to you, exercise by exercise, I want you to get some ideas of what these do. Okay, all right, cool. So thank you for joining us. I hope you guys got some stuff out of this Chi Chat. We'll be continuing to do this on the weekdays after Mary Frances does the practice for us.